Welcome to this new mod map tour on FS19 with me, MrSealyp. This is PRZEMAS Outback. New mod map came out Friday. I've been away for the weekend, so this is a little bit late coming out, but obviously it depends when you're watching this. This is by PrzemsoN. I always try and get that right. Yeah, PrzemsoN. It's difficult to say. It's an interesting map. I like it. There's a lot of features on this that are different to any other map I've come across on console. I've noticed more and more map tours I do, and looking at comments and feedback, we kind of always knew on FS19 this would be the case because of the whole new placeable situation and the kind of build your farm from scratch idea and all those kind of things. I had a lot of conversations with Alien Jim about this, and he said, as a map maker, map designer, where do you go with it? Do you make a map that has all the features you normally have on it, but they're all replaceable or removable, so people can then take it all off and do whatever they want? Do you make a map that's kind of bare and plain and people can build it from scratch from there? Or do you do a mix of the two? Now the thing is, you're not going to please everybody. Some people want a fully functional, ready to go map with everything there because they don't want to be mucking around with rebuilding, doing new stuff. Other people want a completely bare map where they can build everything themselves from scratch, and some people are in the middle that want a bit of both, and it's hard to please everyone. I totally get that. Now this is an American map, big wide open spaces, big fields, no fences, hedges or anything to get in the way, kind of rolling landscape. There are two train lines, two farms, one farm either side of the railroad track. Each railroad line runs around a side of, I say a side of the map, it's top and bottom because we are actually pretty much in the middle of the map, and these trains are running east-west at the moment. That is north. So if we look at the map, I'm here and I'm facing north. So the railroad track, the trains just went past me east-west. One will go on the northern route, one will go on the southern route. We'll use those in a minute to go around the map. Fields range in size from fairly small up to very, very large. That said, even the small ones are fairly expensive. If we look on there, 222,000. I suppose it's not that bad at all, really, when you think about it. There aren't a huge amount of sell points, but there are some really nice features, some things that really stand out. Now, there are no animals. You don't start with any animals on this. This is arable, but of course, with all the placeables we've got, you can put your animals wherever you want to. We start off on New Farmer right here with this placeable area, and we start with field 20. On New Farmer mode, we are 473 slots used out of 1299, which isn't too bad. If you come onto this on Farm Manager and start from scratch, you've only used 355 out of 1299. You don't start with a huge amount of stuff, to be fair, and there are no modded buildings or anything like that. It's all the standard in-game stuff, pretty much. So there's no additional things the map maker has put in. Contracts are available, and prices are pretty good because, as you imagine, fields being the size they are, you know, they're going to take a while to do, but they're going to be worth doing because of the money you get. That's a kind of a given, isn't it, with contracts on larger fields. Now, as far as what you start with, on New Farmer, nothing. We've got nothing in our own storage. It's not showing us any crops owned. Silos other, it does say 1,900,000 litres of capacity. And that's because we do have a farm silo here. That's got, I think that's 1 million litres. And then we've also got Railroad Silo West and Railroad Silo East, which is up here, which store a huge amount each. So the total combined is 1,900,000. There's a lime station there. There's a couple knocking about here at the Biogas Plant. Biogas Plant you do have to buy, and it's 219,744, so it's close to 220,000. But this biogas plant is 3.5 or 3.7 times larger than a standard biogas plant that usually gets placed on a map, as you can kind of see by all of the silos here. And what I like about this as well is the way it's laid out. And that's one thing I do like about this map. There are a lot of things I like about this map, but the way it's laid out and the differences to other maps I've come across. There's a little bit of a feel to Mustang Valley and a couple of other kind of American maps, but there are 3 forests. We've got a small, a medium and a large. Field prices, like so, if we get down to, let's go on this one here, 1,826,000. The forests aren't cheap either. That one's 1,595,000. The smaller one is 271. So to be fair, you can start off on the small forest, do a bit of forestry if that's your thing, and gradually build up. But what I do like as well is you've got these sections here which are highlighted or lighter. They're bits you can't buy at all, regardless. If you click on them, nothing happens. It's only the shaded ones that can. And you do get the field and a bit of the land around it. I know some maps as well, map makers have given us the option to have the field and then the bit around it, so you don't have to have all of it. But these come as packages, the field and the bit of land around it as well. So, pretty good. Like I say, when you start on Farm Manager or start from scratch, you don't start with this placeable area, you don't start with field 20. As far as vehicles owned, we'll have a look at those in a second. So what I'm going to do, now hopefully if the trains come round again, I was hoping they're going to come round, here we go. Watch these barriers, this is a really nice feature, I like this. Look at that! How cool is that? So you can't drive across there when the trains are coming. That is, I know it's a game, but that's terrifying. And when the other train comes the other side, the other set of barriers come up. That's a nice feature, that. I like that. That actually worked out timing-wise almost perfect. And when that one goes, they go down again. Like so. So, here's the farm area we start with. That's the main silo, but there's one either side. So if you're playing multiplayer, you can have 2 separate farms either side of the track. Big open areas, loads of shelter and storage space, but this massive placeable area, I had a go earlier, I tried to put placeable animal pastures and pens, no problem at all. You've got to own it obviously to be able to do that, but it's a kind of mix between the two of a map ready to play on with sell points and the rest of it, but also plenty of option here to build your own farm, to put on here whatever you want. If you don't want to do it here, put it somewhere else on the map. It really doesn't matter, it's absolutely fine. So as far as vehicles we start with, it's quite difficult because the sun's behind me, or it's over there, I'll need it behind me. We don't start with a huge amount. We go to garage, we do have a Massey 5610 little drop nose. We've got the John Deere 6135M, we've got a John Deere T560, AgroLiner trailer, the 625X header for the T560, corn header for it as well, we've got a Spirit R300S seeder, and that's it. That's all you start with on New Farmer and 100,000. So probably not as easy to get going on New Farmer as you'd find on other maps. Farm Manager might even be a better option because you start with 1.25 million on Farm Manager. Yes, you don't start with any of the equipment, but that said, I don't know, I think it'll work quite well. So what I'm going to do now is wait for the train to come round. I'm going to do the southern route, then we'll do the northern route by train. Then I'm going to show you a couple of bits around here, where the BJ is and livestock market, that kind of thing. So I'll see you in a moment. We'll get one of the trains. It's just coming now. That's good timing. Whoops. So on the southern route train, we're going east at the moment, and then we'll turn. It's just to kind of get a feel for the map. But there are, like I say, there's some nice features on this. I like it. The waterways, there's not too much detail, there's not too much going on. There's just enough to get going, but there's also that option you can kind of make the map your own. I like that combination of the two. Now there's an interesting thing we'll look at later on with the water plane, which is a little bit different. Fields on the outside of the water courses, which is nice. It gives you a little bit more kind of more features to the map, a little bit more to kind of play around with. I like that. We're coming up on railroad silo. No, we're not. Or are we? Hang on. Just like down that. Now it's interesting because oh, it's grain mill. Sorry, that one's on the railroad, isn't it? So that's one of your sell points. That's the grain mill that we're coming past just now. That's the grain mill sell point. Railroad silo west we're going to come up on in a moment. I like the fact the track kind of weaves around. There is forestry, not a huge amount, but you have got a mixture of pine and fir. There's some nice features with little windmills, old windmills and stuff up on hillsides and things like that. Little kind of ponds and lakes dotted about in amongst the forest. It's nicely laid out. Like I say, it just feels different. So this is one of your railroad silos. This is not a sale point, this is a storage point. What the map makers tried to do as well is make sure that all the fields, the trains kind of run past most of the field, so you can load onto the train at the field side if you want to. If you don't, you can bring it to one of the silos and load into the train from one of the silos. Of course you can do it that way. So, swinging back around again. We're coming up on the western side of the map now. Now it does say on the Modhub that there's an animated irrigation system, but I think that is for PC. I haven't seen it move or anything yet on console, but there's a big kind of reservoir here with the bridge that goes over. We'll jump out and have a look at that quickly now actually, and we'll look at the sawmill while we're up here. Let's just stop here. So we come round onto the sawmill like so. Now the sawmill is accessible by both tracks, which is quite cool. You've got a lumber sale point just here, so you can do it off of the side of the train, I guess, if you've got cranes and bits and bobs like that. There's also one here if you're going to come in by vehicle. And I think, although it's not marked by a hazard marked bit, I think this is your wood chip sell point. I haven't come across another one. But looking at the map, we've come past Railroad Silo West up here to the sawmill. We are coming up on the shop, which is also here. So you've got your repair, customise, sell point there for vehicles. You've got your purchase point just here. This is your big forecourt for where your vehicles come. But the irrigation system is just over here. And we'll go past the reservoir fairly quickly, if we can. Which is just there. And then you've got this irrigation system that runs on here. We saw this on Washo. Alien Jim did one like this as well. If you go right to the very end of there, there's the tracks that the whole thing runs along, so it drags it right the way across these two fields at the top. And like I say, I haven't seen that work on console. I'm assuming that will do the animation on PC. I haven't got a PC and I don't play on PC, but it does say in the Modhub it does. So there's kind of an assumption. But there you go, so the pipe goes into there, and as this whole thing rolls forward, it takes the water out of the ditches and irrigates. It's a nice feature to have on there. I mean, in the end of the day, even if on console it's not actually animated, it looks quite cool. So I'm going to head back to the train, and we're going to head back down over the top of the BGA. And I say the other track does come round, oh there you go, as if by magic, round past one of the other sell points for lumber, so you can unload lumber off the trains into the sawmill off both tracks, which is quite handy. But the BGA, and I like this idea, I like the design, it's sunken into the ground, it's lowered, and you've got ramps to get down to it. It's just because it's different, I think that's what I like about it. But your main grain silos, you can tip into them from here or by vehicle, so you can do it off the train or by vehicle. So that's the southern route. We'll have a look at the northern route just now. Okay, so we're coming past the sawmill just here to our right on the northern route. We're going to go back past the BGA. Now one thing I will say, or another thing I will say, the vehicle speed and train speed has been significantly increased on here. This goes up to 74 miles per hour. I'm English, I do it in miles per hour, but you know. So yeah, we'll go up to 74, so it's no slouch getting around the map, which is quite handy. Oh, the main silo I meant to say as well, that will do all your main crop types, but it will also do potato, sugar beet and sugar cane. It will store in that main silo. So I'm assuming the railroad silos will do exactly the same. So this is railroad silo east, because we're now coming up the eastern side of the map. Again, you can load into it. I like the fact you can load in at the top as well, off that top field. That's cool. Across the bridge. This, like I say, some really nice features as you go around the map. It's got a nice feel to it. So we've got a train station mill that we're coming up on and the spinnery. Obviously 2 more sell points. There's also a fuel station just up here as well. We're going to come past the fuel station. Just there. So spinnery is just to our left. Train station mill to our right. Big old imposing building. Look at that, all those silos. But unload sell point there for train station mill just past the level crossing. It's kind of quicker to whiz round by train actually to have a look at this. Now for people that like American maps, this might be right up your street. For people that don't, it probably won't be. There may be people that love American maps but don't like this one. Again, there's something for everyone out there. It's not going to be for everyone, and that's just the nature of, you know, mods, maps, personal preference. That's just the way things are. So back around again to the sawmill. What I'm going to do now is jump into one of the tractors and we'll have a quick drive around the main bits here, because that's all the peripheral sell points around the outside. We'll have a quick look at the BGA, we'll have a look at the livestock market. Like I say, animals and stuff, you need to put them on yourself. You can do them on the placeable areas. If you want to put them elsewhere, that's up to you. If you want to build your farm elsewhere, again, that's also up to you. Whatever you want to do. But I'm going to point out something when we come down into the biogas plant. So, bear with me 1 second. We are in the John Deere 6135M. Like I say, I kind of pointed out over here we've got shelter space. There's enough there, but again, if you want to add your own stuff in, there's plenty of room. You're not short of space. The map's quite wide and open. We're going to head down the hill or the slope down into the biogas plant, and something's going to come up here. I don't know if it does on PC, but it does on console. Oh, it's not going to come up, Neil. That is so bizarre. When I checked out the map earlier, when I came down it said do not drive too deeply into the water. And the first thing I thought was it's because this is lower than the water plane on the map. Because the water plane is set a little bit higher and you're going below that, that's why it's saying not to drive too deeply. But it hasn't come up. Okay, so never mind. But we have got 6 large bunker silos. Really large. We've got 3 access points down into here. The ramp I just came down, there's a ramp just off to the right over there and the ramp just ahead. We've got our digester there, we've got a lime station just over to that side there, and we've got our digestate tank, which is our byproduct of selling whatever we sell into the digester, just over here. So this is where we collect our digestate from. If we come up out of the biogas plant here, we come up towards the livestock market and the barn sell point. That was weird. I wonder why that came up earlier but didn't just then. So do not drive too deeply. I like the big open spaces thing. I like the fact you can pretty much hook up any piece of equipment and go across this map and you're not going to have any problems with hedges, fences, that kind of thing. I'm a big fan and advocate of European maps just because that's where I live. I love British maps. I like that feeling of the countryside I live in, and I suppose everybody feels that way about maps, but I'm not adverse to a big open space map. I do like them. Right, sell point there. Let's have a quick look on the map. Is the grain elevator, which is just there. That's just ahead of us. And then we've got, just in here, we've got the barn sell point there. And we've got our livestock market. These kind of concrete pads here are that's how you know that's the sell point there. And this one here, once you go onto that and press L3, you get all your buying or loading and unloading options for your animal dealer. Obviously there's no pens or anything in place, so that's not going to come up on the menu just yet. In essence, that's it. That's the entire map. I mean, we've kind of been around, we've had a quick look. I like it. I like the differences. I like the lower BGA. I like the big open placeable areas. I like the fact you've got a map that you can play on straight away and just get cracking on with it. You could do big old cotton harvest. You can do, you know, anything. I mean, you can do them on a lot of maps, but I also like the fact there's a lot of option left open here for creating something yourself with the big placeable areas and the big open areas, that it's not so heavily defined that you can't do anything with it. You know, yeah, I like it. Nice features. I like the 2 railroad tracks. I like the way it's laid out. It's a good map. I'm trying to think, was there any features I've missed? I hope not. It is that situation now with so many placeables and things available. You don't often get seed and refill buy points on maps. Some map makers will put them on. They'll also put on buy and sell points for manure and slurry and things like that, but there are mods available in the Modhub for that as well anyway. So if you don't come across them on the map, you can place them, you know, put them wherever you want if you want your own seed and refill, or you might just go from the store and do it by pallet. That's entirely up to you as well. And I think that's the beauty of FS19. I'm kind of enjoying a lot at the moment, is that there is all that option to kind of do it any which way you want. But there you go. So this is PRZEMAS Outback by PrzemsoN. I'm sorry if I get it wrong. PrzemsoN. Very cool. Very cool indeed. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.